Hello, everybody, and welcome to Kyrus Has Friends, the show where I sit down with the people that inspire me the most, and those people are my friends. If you're interested in watching more of these, please be sure to follow me on Facebook and Instagram at The Vibe with Kai, and you can follow me on TikTok and Snapchat at Kyrus Keenan, and as always, you can visit my website at thevibewithkai.com. Today, I am sitting with one of my closest friends. She is such a beautiful, beautiful person, a beautiful soul, and I'm so happy that she's taken time out of her day to sit with us today. Miss Tia Brown, hi.
Hi.
How are we'll get into all of the stuff that's happening in the world right now in a second, because I know both of us have some thoughts on this. But I wanted to check up on you, just like in general with quarantine. How are you doing? How are you holding up?
So, I cannot complain.
Yes.
I am blessed and highly favored. You know, I am in good health. I'm
Mm-hmm.
maintaining by myself and my two dogs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still working. I'm teaching from home from my.
Yeah, I was gonna ask because you're a teacher and you teach younger students, if I'm not
Yeah, I teach
mistaken, right?
kindergarten.
Right. So what has it
Babies.
been like as a teacher teaching so kids so young that like this is just like what's happening?
It's been a transition, but it's gotten easier as time has gone by.
Right.
I'm realizing that it's not going to be a one size fits all model for every kid or for every teacher. Like in our district, teachers are deciding to do different things. I like to check in with every student in my class at least once a week.
Mm-hmm.
For the how can I say it, like the social
Mm-hmm.
interaction piece is what I want to make sure that they're getting, because yes, I want to make sure they're getting the academics, but what about like their mental health right now?
Right.
Like
Right.
there's been a complete shift in life as they know it. What normalcy can I give them?
Mm-hmm.
So it's been less teaching to a whole group at the same time and more of just like doing check-ins like this,
Right.
making it more personal.
Right.
That's helped out a lot.
It's well, we're right now we're in like these unprecedented times where it's like we like for a lot of us, for the whole world really, we've never had to like deal with something like that. So it's nice that you're finding a way to like adjust. Has your district said anything about possible reopening in the fall? Are you guys just like on the fence still?
We're debating whether we will be opening like in September with business as usual or
Hmm.
continue remote teaching or do a blend of both.
Okay.
Don't know yet. And that's the thing, the news is constantly changing. So
Yes.
getting the news as soon as like our administration gets it. And
Right.
it's changing, like we don't know. So we've been told to prepare to possibly still be teaching remotely in September. So
Right.
prep like take home kits, or
Right.
if there's a resurgence, we can send the students home with everything they need. Like we would
Sure.
have already known how this worked, as opposed
Right.
I think we had maybe like less than a day's notice
Oh my
to
gosh.
everything and go.
Oh
And
my gosh.
that was insane. And I don't think we ever want to be caught with our pants down like
Right.
that again. So
Right.
I think now we're just trying to prepare for whatever happens.
Sure. And the students that you work with are like they're young, but how aware are they of this circumstance, number one? And number two, do you somehow work that into your lesson plans that you give them?
So that's a great question. I remember, okay, so like the last time I was together with my class, we had like a little meeting, just like touch base, and I couldn't really say because I didn't really know. I was like, friends, we're going to be off for 2 weeks. We might be back in 2 weeks. We might not. Does anyone have any questions?
Right.
There were some who had none, right? And others who were like, oh, it's because of the corona. And, oh, it came from bats in China. Like, obviously, their parents were talking about this
Yeah,
or
yeah.
they were watching the news. There were some that
Right.
were aware. I don't really have conversations anymore about COVID. It's more like, Miss Brown, when do we get to go back to the classroom?
Sure, sure.
When we go back, I heard we're going to have to wear masks.
Right.
Or like, I miss my friends, like those types of things.
Mhm.
I think only maybe like one or two students have mentioned, oh, it's all because of the virus. Like there are, but
Sure.
everyone else, I'm not so much. And I don't know
Okay.
what's discussed with them at home because they're so young. I mean, how do you
Right.
present that to a kindergartner? And do they even need to know that? Like, how much do they need to know?
Right, right. How long have you been teaching now?
This is my 6th year, going on my 7th year.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
What is time?
What time is a construct at this point?
Definitely.
That's exciting though. I mean, if anything, in the future, you end up having these interesting sort of like when you hit like year 15, you're gonna be like, well, back in 2020.
Yeah, teaching has shifted completely. I remember thinking to myself, like, in some future dystopian society, we'll have teachers teach online, but they'll only need one teacher because it could go out to anyone, and then teachers
right.
Like thinking, but now it's like, wow, we kind of are there. Where now we're doing what we're teaching.
Right.
What's hard is that like you don't have that human like just social interaction.
Mm-hmm.
How do you teach kids in kindergarten how to be social when you're not giving them the opportunity to do so? So we are going to see lasting effects on this.
Right, I'm sure. Well, I mean, there's a lot of things in the educational field for all grades and ages. I mean, it's just changed now. I do want to talk about how we ended up becoming friends. So we've met doing theater, and like theater is something that that unites a lot of people. But one of the things, like we've done a lot of stuff together, but one of the things that will always stand out to me is your role as Saint Jimmy in American Idiot. Because like I remember, so for those of you that are unfamiliar with the Broadway musical Green Day's American Idiot, that role is traditionally played by a white male, right? And we had decided to go with a strong black woman in that lead, and my God, you killed it, and you were such a joy to watch. But like unsurprisingly so, because you anytime I see you on stage, you always are just so fierce and just fun, and you give it everything you have, whether it's the biggest role in the show or the smallest role in the show. Like you just give it everything. What was it like taking on a role that was that's normally done with a white male?
I'm gonna say at first, like totally nerve-wracking because I didn't even envision myself in this role. Like when I went to the audition, I was like thinking like, oh my God, I would love to be What's Your Name, only because that's all I'd ever seen is a person of color playing What's Your Name. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna be her. And then when I got the call back for St. Jimmy, I'm like, oh, that's really interesting how they would see that. And I feel like everyone had so much more confidence than I had initially going into it.
Sure.
And then I thought about how amazing it was that like I didn't have to go off of any template. I could make it what I wanted it to be and defy race and defy gender and just be this entity that didn't even exist in reality. So it was such a blessing. It was such a gift because very rarely as an actor of color do you get chances like that.
Right.
We played I've had roles where I played the help or come in to do that solo that has some riffing, and then you're
right. Because what people don't realize for people like you and I, we're incredibly grateful for these opportunities to perform and all that. But like sometimes we'll only get the call if a black person is needed. Like, hey, we're doing a production of Hairspray, we need black people. Or hey, we're doing a production of The Wiz, we need black people. Like, I would really like for theaters to do more to invite people of color in general. If they're doing a production of Oklahoma, if they're doing a production of Bye Bye Birdie or whatever, if your issue with being afraid to do theater, black theater because you feel like you don't have the black performers, then maybe you should start inviting them to other things and making them feel a little bit more inclusive so that they feel more welcome, and that you don't have to be like, hey, we're doing a black person show, can you come be black for us? And we're like, oh, I guess so.
Right? And only then do we get the call.
Right. And like I said, I'm very appreciative because a lot of the opportunities that I've had to perform, like it's been great. Oh,
definitely.
But like, it's like,
we can do better.
100%, and that's a conversation that I have with a lot of theater leaders in the world or in the state, because they often say, hey Kai, we want to do this production, but I don't think we're going to be able to cast it. Well, how about the next time you do Into the Woods or something?
What outreach are you doing? They're not going to come and just, we're not going to say, hey, here I am. Also, I'm going to start holding people accountable. You have to you look at who's in your social circle, okay? They all look like you. And in these rooms you're sitting in, they all look like you. And these meetings you have, they all look like you. How are you want to let other people know what
right. And you can't just
yourself
start
uncomfortable
doing,
and go in spaces
amen. You can't
that
start
aren't as
doing your
predominantly white.
outreach. You can't start doing your outreach when you need it. You need to be doing outreach nonstop, right?
Thank you. It's not
And
when you
like
need it. It
that
should
is
be all the
that's
time.
it's like that's just the world that we live in, and I'm going to use that to kind of shift into what's happening in the world right now, right? So right now we are in a time that's incredibly frustrating for Black people, that a person can on camera get murdered, camera from different angles, saying, "Mom, I love you, I can't breathe, let me stand," on camera. And yet there's still some sort of like divisiveness here.
Yeah. Oh, like a but what is the but? I'm done with.
I'll never I and like I guess I said this to you before we started rolling today. I'm really appreciative of my white friends that have reached out and that are being allies, and I hope that they continue to do so. Checking on your Black friends, checking on people of color, not just Black, but just people of color in general right now. But what y'all need to know is that this has been going on forever. The riots and the frustration, the anger that you see right now, it's not just because of this one situation, right? It's not just because of George Floyd. This has been ongoing and building up for years and years and decades and centuries and centuries. And we are sick and tired of it. It is so frustrating. And I wanted to talk with you because I know that you are a strong advocate for this. What have been your thoughts on the last 48, 72 hours in the United States of America right now?
I apologize in advance because this might get emotional.
Mm-hmm.
It has been a roller coaster. So when I woke up, I don't know if it was on Wednesday, I don't know when the video first surfaced,
Mm-hmm.
but you get up, you check your phone, right? So I'm scrolling and I see this video and I click on it. There was no warning or anything about what it was. And the more I watch it, I'm like realizing like, holy shit, I'm witnessing a slow motion public execution right now. And I had to stop. And I remember I was shaking, crying, screaming. Like I had never experienced rage like that before. And I think I just lost it. I just felt so depressed.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I honestly thought like they're gonna kill us. They don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
This is what they've always wanted, and they're gonna get away with it if I don't do something. Like I can't control what other people do. I don't have control over that, but I have control over what I can do with this, right? So I had to sit with myself and ask myself, what do I do with this anger? What do I do with this rage? So at first, I think it was just all about like bringing awareness and putting out uncomfortable content and being unrelentless about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I probably lost some friends, but then if I lost them at this point, you were never my friends.
Bye. See ya. Sorry, I don't need you in my life then.
And I did not get this far without people who before me, who have advocated for our right to be here. And I can't stop now. It's in my blood. It's all I've known. And I realize now I think this is my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Is to uplift others so we can no longer have to deal with this. I'm not gonna lie, Kyrus, as a Black woman in this country, I have come to terms with the fact that when I might die at the hands of someone else, as crazy as that might sound, you might say, oh my God, Tia, you're being crazy when you're talking like that, but just look up Sandra Bland, I'm not.
Oh yeah.
So I've come to terms with the fact that I will never start a family in this country. Never. Because I know for a fact that if that happens to my child, I will fucking lose my mind and hurt myself or others. And I don't want to hurt others. I'm tired of, though, putting that pain and inflicting it on myself. I'm tired of that. But I'm also thinking I should not have to think that way. I should not have to think that because I'm Black, it'll be more difficult for me to own a home. I shouldn't think to myself that if I am Black, I will have to, if I decide to have kids, have conversations that my white peers as parents will never have to have. And that's not right. I'm over it now. And I feel like we need to take this country back because we built it.
Literally. Literally.
We need to do a better job of teaching American history as it actually is, not just white American history, where you get to learn about the civil rights movement and it's a watered down version of the civil rights movement. I'm done with that. I honest to God think that's how we got here.
Right.
Lack of education, where we're actually giving teachers and students resources and parents resources so they can talk about this stuff and have a frame of reference and have resources and have facts and have evidence. We need to come to a place where we value evidence. I've also feel like we've reached a point in society where we demonize being intelligent. It's better to be loud and wrong. And it's like, and it permeates everything from the orange asshat in the White House to TV stars who just go off doing whatever the fuck they want to do without consequence. Oh, and it's just because I feel that way. Oh, because I feel that way. Okay, well then why? You need to examine where those feelings are coming from. Let's just dig a little deeper here. And it's just so many things going on that I'm like, is this right anymore? It seems like we're in a society. And at the point when I saw that reporter got arrested.
Oh, the CNN reporter, yeah.
That's when I was like, I'm going off. I'm going off. I have
what's scary
and protest and go out.
What's scary is when you mentioned the president who is emboldening these racists.
Oh yeah,
these
I also thought the president wants us dead. That's also another thing.
Right. I mean, I think he on his Twitter this morning, I believe he said something about a MAGA night tonight at the White House. The same night that people are planning to go and protest. You do realize he is inciting a race war. He is inciting this. That's what he always wanted. And it's what he's wanted, and he's getting it. It's a race war. It's a class war. And what blows my mind is that some of the people that are MAGA this and MAGA that, if they were to try to walk into one of his golf resorts, get out. What are you doing here? What are you doing here? You don't belong here, right? People I think people forget that. Like when he goes golfing every day, when in the middle of a pandemic where over 100,000 people have died, and people are like, MAGA this, let's make America great again. You go to his golf, so go to Mar-a-Lago right now. Go right now. See if they let you in. Tell me what happens when you try to go in there. He's inciting a class war and a race war.
We need to examine class. And no offense, I feel like it's poorer whites who are sympathizing with Trump because they feel, because of their whiteness, that privilege, at least they're not black. God forbid you come into this country and you're black. So I've been reading this book called Tears That Cannot Stop by Michael Eric Dyson. And I just wanted to read a passage because it just what you had mentioned. So it says, whites for whom whiteness offers no material reward, but there are psychological and social advantage in not being thought of as black. Poor whites seem to say, at least there's a nigger beneath me. And it's a way of poor whites to be of value to richer whites, especially when poor whites agree that black folk are the source of their trouble, not the corporate behavior of wealthier whites who hurt black and white folk alike. It's a way to bond beyond class. It's a way of working class whites to experience momentary prestige in the eyes of richer whites. And there are a lot of privileges that white folks don't get that don't depend on cash. The greatest one may be getting stopped by a cop and living to talk about
it. I don't know how we could have put that any differently.
It goes back to when slavery was abolished and white people were like, oh my God, we are not going to compete with black people for jobs. Absolutely not. Hence how we got Jim Crow. But I'm tired of us knowing this. We know this, but we need to realize that we know our history. White people really need to know their history, really know it.
Mm-hmm.
Really know why it was the land of the free and for whom, and the land of the great and for whom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they could have worked with us. That's what's so sad.
Right. Right. And I told
another
you this.
way around this, but they did. They chose complacency.
Right.
That's their
Right.
choice, and we're going to do what works best for us.
Right. I told you before, you know, I got a message from a white friend, you know, whom I adore. He's a good man. I know that. But he sent me a message because I had put up a status that said something along the lines of how I'm tired of being told by a white man how I should and shouldn't feel about this situation. And he wrote back saying, and if you're watching this, just know that I adore you, but this is something really important to me. So he wrote me saying, this is coming at you with love, but I think that you should watch what you say when you're posting that stuff on Facebook, because people like me who's white that wants to be an ally for you feels scared to step up and speak up for you when you say things like, hey, white men should sit this one out for a little bit, right? And what I explained to him was this. Number one, at no point did I say that you should sit down and shut up. Number two, at no point did I say that you shouldn't just go out and speak your feelings. Number three, what I'm saying is I don't want you to tell me how I should feel. I'm not going to tell you how you should feel, so you should not tell me how I should feel. And last but not least, I'm not going to gift wrap my feelings for you so you can feel better to step up and be an ally for me and for my people. I'm not going to gift wrap that to make you feel better. That's not how this works. It's how it's been done, but that's not right. And I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of having to gift wrap my emotions to tell people, hey, it's okay, I feel this way. Like when people like, oh, I have a black friend, he allows me to do it, like stuff like that. No, sorry, we're not going to gift wrap it anymore. We're past that point. You've had your chance. And now we're going to be heard. You know, and like I don't mean to like sound like downgrading or
No,
fearful
you
or
don't.
anything like that. In fact, I'm very hopeful and I'm very optimistic.
I'm hopeful
about,
now.
Right, I'm hopeful
Definitely.
now because now like you want to talk about woke, you know, like this is happening, friends. Like this is something that's really happening right now. And the life is not going to be the same after this.
Oh, and I'm glad because it wasn't working before.
Mm-hmm.
It was working for certain people, but last time I checked, it was liberty and justice for all, right? Like,
yeah,
we need to make this place a safe place for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So one of my favorite poets is Langston Hughes, and Langston Hughes wrote a poem that I want to read an excerpt from right now. He wrote a poem called "Let America Be America Again." Now, this was written in I would say like 1950s, by the way, 1950s, 1960s, but it's so relevant right now. And I want to read just the ending of this poem here that he wrote, because it's amazing. He says, let America be America again, the land that never has been yet, and yet must be, the land where every man is free, the land that's mine, the poor man's, the Indians, the Negroes, me, who made America, whose sweat and blood, whose faith and pain, whose hand at the foundry, whose plow in the rain, must bring back our mighty dream again. Sure, call me any ugly name you choose. The steel of freedom does not stain. From those who live like leeches on the people's lives, we must take back our land again, America. And yes, I say it plain, America never was America to me, and yet I swear this oath, America will be. Out of the rack and ruin of our gangster death, the rape and rot of graft and stealth and lies, we the people must redeem the land that's mine, the plants, the mines, the rivers, the mountains, and the endless plain, all that stretch these great green states, and make America again. Langston Hughes wrote this back in the 50s.
Yep. Revisit anything from Langston Hughes, James Baldwin. Oh my gosh, the list goes on. We have been saying this.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's their turn.
Right. And that's one of the reasons, Tia, why I am so thankful. I'm so hopeful for what's going to come out of this, because
Me too.
we have so many, like, if you look at the people that are protesting right now, like you and I, we're in our 30s, right? Or did you hit 30 yet? Are you there yet?
Yes, I'm in my
Yes.
30s.
There we go. So like
Finally.
we're both in our 30s, but when I look at the people that are protesting right now, they're the people that are younger than us out there right now. Obviously, like, we're out there, we're speaking our truth. But like, there are people out there of all races, all genders, all of these creeds that are out there speaking up. And I hope that that doesn't end. And I think that it's going to be a brilliant, like, renaissance of just art. I hope that we get a Harlem Renaissance again
I have a
out
feeling
of all of
we will.
this. You know,
This
there's
time
something
of
so relatable
quarantine
to the
and
2020s, the 1920s right now, that like is incredible, because we're going to head into another Great Depression. It's going to happen. You know, unfortunately, that's the Great Depression is what kind of ended the Harlem Renaissance in general. But I do feel hopeful that given all of our connectivity now around the world and our ways
that's
to
true.
connect and talk
It's
with
helped
each
to
other,
connect like this.
right, things are going to be different now.
We can
And I
organize
feel
better.
hopeful. Yes, we can organize. That's huge. That is huge. So do you feel hopeful? You know, like heading into
Oh,
the announcement of
today?
this?
Oh, yes. I
Yeah.
feel so hopeful. Yesterday? No. But
Right.
today, because yesterday was rough. Like I said, I saw that reporter get arrested. I immediately put my phone away. I was like, I can't even look at this shit anymore because
Right.
I just can't. I'm gonna lose
Right.
and then like I turned my phone on and was looking at just when everyone's responses, and just the outreach, but also the actual taking to the streets and doing something.
That's important.
Multiple places, and hearing friends abroad say, we're with you, and we're not okay with that. I just saw a protest in Tokyo. Black Lives Matter protest in Tokyo. I feel like this has the potential to change the world because yes, race is a very in America is a huge problem because our country was founded on this notion that blacks were genetically inferior and that we were just here for labor. So we have to dismantle a lot of that. But there's colorism everywhere. That's a global issue. There's racism everywhere. So I feel like this is a time when the world is watching, and I hope that we are inspiring others.
Right. What would you
do
say
the
to
same?
our
When I take to the streets, I don't mean like destroy shit, but
right.
take to the streets and just take up space.
Right.
Just take up space.
What would you say to our white friends and our colleagues that want to help, that want to stand up and continue to be allies for us? What would you say to them if they're watching right now?
Great question. Take a look at the sources that are being shared with you and take it upon yourself to do the reading and watch the documentaries. Like, now you do the work. We can present it to you, but we're not going to explain what you should be doing with it or how you should be learning. Here's the knowledge. You do the work. So educate yourself. If you're having a conversation, just listen.
Right.
Don't have to make it about yourself, even if you feel like you're trying to help. Because I know sometimes people try to give a frame of reference where they say, oh, as a trans person, I understand where you're coming from. I have to go through prejudice and oppression too. It's like, okay, yeah, yes, you do. And I'm sorry about that, but you've now made that about you. You can, my race is not something I can really hide or pass.
Yep.
Gender is passable. So those are different. We could talk about the intersectionality of these things, but right now we're talking about a race issue. Race. And actually like a black race issue.
Specifically, yes.
We're not killing like Asians and Hispanics on site. You know what I mean? Like, this is a black issue. So let us say, yes, Black Lives Matter. When I say that, I mean that. So like, listen and just process and sit with it. You don't have to have an answer. You don't always have to say it. You don't even have to say, I'm sorry. Just listen. Or if you don't agree, say, I don't understand. That's not my perspective. That's not my lived experience, but tell me more. Instead of jumping down their throats and saying, well, you know, if you say that, then my feelings are hurt and we can't help you. You just say, wow, Kyrus, that's really interesting. I might not agree, or that's not my lived experience, but tell me more. Leave that conversation open so your Black friends still want to keep that dialogue.
Right.
Not like, well, that person isn't even willing to listen, so I'm not going to be honest with them. Something else they our white friends and allies could do: donate. If you can't take to the streets, donate. Have those uncomfortable conversations at home with your friends and family. If they say something fucked up, speak up.
Yes, you have to, because it's not just you being an ally on Facebook. It's more than just being an ally on Facebook. Like when you have the conversations that Black people are not privy to, you know, when you're at home, when you are with your friends and family, and maybe it is all white, maybe it's at the dinner table, whatever it is. You're 100% right. Having that conversation there too, not just where we can see it.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, look at me, I did it.
Allyship. I'm tired of the performative shit. You don't have to let your Black friends know who you donated to. Like, I mean, thank you for letting us know, but you don't have to let us know. Also, don't always expect a response when you send a message of solidarity. They might not want to talk. We might not want to talk to you, you know. You might not be in a place. So don't take our silence as a fuck you. It might just be like, we're not ready to talk about this right now, because anytime we talk about it, it is traumatic. We are reliving a traumatic experience. So you have to respect different people's way of coming about this. That's all I can say to white people is listen and then act. Like, what are you going to do with that knowledge now that you have it? How are you going to change your actions? How are you going to change the way you go about the world? How are you going to hold your friends and family more accountable, and your employers more accountable? Hey, businesses, hey, recording artists, hey, TV stars, I'm looking at you. And I said at 3 o'clock, I'm going to be looking real in depth at people's social media accounts. And you better know that if I didn't see you post shit in the past week, you've had a week, you're done. You're not getting my money anymore. You're not getting my business anymore. You're not.
I can't stress this enough. I can
tell you that right now.
I can't stress this enough, that the people that I'm keeping a close eye on are the leaders of the businesses that I work with. The people that pay my checks, the people that I work with, my clients. I'm paying attention. You know, like that, because this stuff is really important to me, and I want to know what I'm working with here. Because if you're like, I'm not asking people to like put their whole like reputation on the line or whatever. I just want to know, where are we? Where do you stand? What are your thoughts on this? Because
would you justify someone killing me?
Right. Like,
would you go about business as usual if that was me?
Exactly. If that was me, with my neck, with somebody's knee in my neck on the ground, which, by the way, is not out of the realm of possibility.
Not at all.
If that was me down there, how would you feel then? Would it just be like, oh, here we go again? Or would it be, oh man, that's Kyrus? Like, what is your thoughts on this? So I'm paying really close attention to those people, because like, this is really, really important to me. It's not just about my friends. It's not just about my
coworkers too.
My coworkers, my leaders, you know, some of whom may be watching right now, you know, and like I'm not calling anybody out by any means. Don't take it as that. But like I'm looking at you. I want to have this conversation with you, because this is something that's really important to me and to a lot of people in my field and my friends and my family. I want to know. I want to have that conversation, as uncomfortable as it may be. I want to know.
Yes, let's learn to sit in that uncomfortability, because we're going to be sitting in that for a while. And here's the thing, like, I mean, I hate to put it this way, but we've been sitting in that uncomfortability for so long. You really have to sit in it for a conversation. Like, once again, the privilege. Or also, let's talk about white fragility.
Mm.
in it.
Mhm.
You know, that is something that I'm sure people hear like, how dare you call me fragile snowflake? Hear me the fuck out. Like as soon as someone, as soon as something happens to someone that looks like you, if you're white, actions are usually taken.
Mhm.
If a child is white and gets taken, it makes the news.
Mhm.
Do you know what the child Atlanta murders are? I did not until
Oh my God.
last month, which
Mhm.
I'm like embarrassed because I try my best to stay up to
Tia, I didn't know about those murders until there's a show on Netflix called Mindhunter, and I started
yes,
watching that show.
season 3, right?
Right,
Or season 2?
season two had to do with the Atlanta child. I
I
had no idea.
heard.
I thought it was something they just made up, and then when I started looking it up, I'm like, this shit
It's a horror
actually
movie.
happened, and they still don't know what happened to this day.
To this day.
And I think there's a new documentary
The
that came out
case.
recently about it too. But like,
It's so good.
I had no idea. No idea.
No, a lot of people didn't know about that or about Black Wall Street,
Mm-hmm.
the bombing of Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. For those people who watch Watchmen,
Watchmen, yeah,
it
yeah.
wasn't fictional.
I had no idea.
That was real.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And like, y'all get upset about a Target. Like,
Sorry.
fragility. Oh, I have to wear a mask. Oh my God, I'm protesting. White fragility. Like, and I don't say that as like a personal dig, but you just haven't had to deal with as much adversity as people of color because this system has been built to comfort and support you. You can call the police and know they will be here to protect you.
And to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Your teachers will give you the benefit of the doubt because they look like you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the only Black teacher at my school, and I think it hasn't been verified, but I think I'm the first Black teacher they hired, and it is the oldest elementary school or the oldest school in general in Lawrence.
I just interviewed my friend Phil, who's also a teacher, and he
Phil!
was telling. Yeah, you know Phil. So he was telling me that he is one of 2 Black teachers in the region, in his region, because he's a regional school. And then that got me thinking, and Tia, this blew my mind. I just figured this out today. Tia, I've never, ever in my entire life had a Black teacher.
I'm about to pose this question. How many of you had a Black teacher?
I've never had one. I'm talking from preschool through college, Tia, through college. I've never had a Black teacher, ever. And that blew my mind.
See yourself. That's wrong.
And here's the crazy thing, that the fact that I'm 33, I've been out of college for over 10 years now, right? Why did that not even just register with me until
because
right
it's the
now?
norm. Because it's the norm.
Blows my mind.
Oh yeah. And it blows my mind. Now I can only speak for the district I work in.
Mm-hmm.
They started an equity committee. They're making actions.
Mm-hmm.
And I always hear, well, they're just not applying. They're just not there. And then I hear stories of people who have applied, or my coworker let me know of last year, there was an opening for a math teacher, and there was this very qualified Black woman, and by qualified, I mean she ran her own like literacy program. She'd been teaching for 13 years. She qualified out the wazoo, right? She went into the interview saying, I am interviewing for this math position, but I also saw that the principal position is opening up, and I want to let you know I'm also applying for that as well. Do you think she got either job? No, she did not. And yet you tell us that we're not there. She is so qualified, and I won't go any further because the people who got those positions, I can tell you this, were nowhere near as close.
Mm-hmm.
Because, once again, that's privilege.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired of us having to always excel and exceed, and just for you to even accept us, we have to talk very eloquently, and we have to have a good education and a good job for you to take us seriously. It's that idea of excellence. I feel like in my family, that is something that was always preached, is that, they can't take away your education and you have to be twice as good. So
Mm-hmm.
you give them no reason to even doubt your ability.
Mm-hmm.
It's taxing. That's so like
I mean, it's hard enough
mentally,
to be black,
physically,
but
emotionally.
to be a black woman, it's hard enough to be black, but to be a black, because like, I mean, that's just two punches
You're
right
dealing with
there.
race and gender.
That, which is like, because I don't remember the set offhand, but I know that obviously women get paid, less than what a man's dollar is worth, but a black woman gets paid even less than that, even less, which like, oh man, it just like,
And that's
this
wrong.
is our system, and this is why we're mad. This is
Hey,
why we
thank
are out
you.
on the streets right now.
It's not just, yeah, like George Floyd. It's more than that. It's all encompassing. It's everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's everywhere. It's
Right, and there
we
may
have
be
to.
people right now watching this that may feel uncomfortable, listening or whatever. But like we said in the beginning, Tia, like this is just what it is, and we
Yeah, we're
have to
asking
speak
for
our truth.
equality. We're not asking for revenge here.
Right,
We're
right.
not.
Like all I ask right now is that you listen and you understand where we're coming
Please.
from. And then you know what, from there you can make whatever decision you want to make. Like that's whatever you want to do. I can't sit here and try to, like you said, I can't control other people's actions. But what I do ask is that you just sit here and just listen and just try to understand where we're coming from and why we are just scientifically, physically, mentally just being held down. And like it's always been like that. And this, in the instances that we're dealing with in the last 72 hours, this is not new. Sorry.
No,
It's
and
not
welcome
new.
to the club.
Yeah.
Like just welcome.
Mhm.
Welcome now.
Welcome.
Welcome to our reality.
Yeah, that uncomfortable feeling you have, like you said, we've been dealing with this for our
Yes.
whole lives.
Right? And we put a smile on every
Yes.
single day when you see us at work, when you see us at social gatherings, when you see us at rehearsals, when you see us at performances. We all still show up.
Mm-hmm.
Friends, people in the community you don't know, you're the stars you love to follow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like if you love us so much, if you love our culture so much, love us as people too.
Please.
Or
Tia, I
what
love
I
you.
would like to see happen, I don't know if it will get to that point.
Yeah.
I think, like just I just wish, what did P. Diddy say at like the Grammys? He's like, I'm gonna give y'all like 1 year to get it together.
Yeah.
And if we're not together by then, we're not coming to your award shows.
Mm-hmm.
We're not giving you our music.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see y'all on TikToks working and shit, appropriating our dances. Like,
Yep.
it's done. You just won't get our stuff anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We're cutting you off.
Right.
If there was a way to do that, that would be so wonderful. I don't think it is. It's like, then you don't get our stuff.
No, it's mine. I'm gonna hold on.
You make your own stuff, okay?
There's a show on Netflix right now called Black as Fuck, and it's I love it. It's the guy that he wrote like Blackish and like a lot like Mixed-ish and like all those shows. And Tyler Perry was on one episode, and he goes on this brilliant speech about white people taking our culture, right? Number one, and number two, like he was asked like why don't you or do you get upset when you're not up for Grammy or up for Oscars and stuff like that? He's like, no. There's a reason that my movies, when they open up, whether you like them or not, there's a reason that they always open up number one, because I make movies for my audience. My audiences appreciate it, and like I don't need your award. I don't need your statue to let me know that what I'm doing is okay. I don't need that, because I know that my people like it. It's great. It's if I can find a clip, I'm gonna share it with you. It's really good. It's great. It's so good. Oh, Tia, I love you.
Kyrus, I love you.
I love you. Like I know that. Thank you for your honesty, and like you. I mean, you've always been like an honest person, and you're so kind. Like on top of all this, like you are smart and kind and sweet. And I have nothing but good positive memories, and I can't wait to make more with you. And I really do hope that this is this whole situation is the beginning of a good revolution, and it's led by people. It's led by people like you that are willing to be honest and truthful and speak their truth, and not only, and on top of that, educate people. Educate as many people as possible, both young and old, and I applaud you for that, and I love you, and I appreciate you taking the time to sit with me today.
Kyrus, thank you for having me. And if I could just say like one more thing too.
Yeah, please.
Like watching, that I wanted to like add, like we have your back too. Like we've got you. When shit goes down, we have your back. We're in this fight together.
Amen.
We're not gonna leave you hanging. If you step up for us, we will step up for you. So, like,
Amen.
Thank you, Kyrus, for having me. Thank you to friends who are like listening.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We listen. We might have scared a few people off, but you know what? Who cares? Because we're just speaking our truth. We are speaking our truth. And the people that made it this far, you are allies, and we appreciate you for listening. And this is not the end, guys. This is just the beginning.
Only the beginning.
We're all, like you said, we're all in this together as the
we
great.
We can build a beautiful city. Yes, we can.
Listen,
yes,
I'm all down for a little Godspell action right now. That's fine.
Yeah, right.
I love
I'm like, though, like. If there's any time left, like I wanted to like touch on.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Like, musical theater for a minute, because I was like thinking of like not just musical theater, but things that we look for in entertainment.
Yes.
That add elements of rebellion and equality and coming together, right? So like, to those people who don't understand why people are rioting, I ask that you look to those favorite franchises you have, ranging from Star Wars, Rebellion, right? Harry Potter, you know, the Dark Army, or like, you know, trying to defeat Voldemort, and have like so many others examples of, Hunger Games. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So just like really examine why you find those types of rebellions okay, but not what's going on here okay. Like just examine that, like think about that for a minute. And also like think about the shows that you love to talk about how much you are obsessed with it. Specifically, I'm talking about Hamilton. I've been looking at Hamilton's Instagram page, and I'm still waiting for them to come up with a stance on it. And those people who have been posting about, oh my God, it's going to be on Disney Plus July 3rd, and I spent $300 to go see Hamilton when it was on Broadway. Like, where are you now?
Right.
Where are you now? I haven't heard anything from you in a minute. Where are you? Like, is it okay only when it's art and entertainment?
Oof.
Something that I wish we could just like think of.
Yes.
In it. To all you hair lovers out there, it was about revolution. So where are you?
Hairspray, even as
hairspray
cheesy as that could be. Like, come on.
Yeah, you love doing that show. Then fucking speak up about it. Or
it's happening right now.
My high school did Les Mis.
Right.
My high school in town did Les Mis. The movie Les Mis. People love Les Mis. Okay, then where is that? I don't hear you.
That is brilliant.
That's something that's been sitting on my heart for a minute. Like I just those people who just love to talk about how much they love those shows and those movies and where are you?
That is I never thought of it that way, and that's genius. Oh my gosh. You are such a blessing. Oh my God. You are such a blessing, and I mean that. Like, there's a reason that people love you, and there's a reason that I love you, and your children, your students, like your friends, like we all love you, and you're such. I'm just so blessed to have somebody like you in my life, you specifically in my life, and I thank you. Thank you so much, Tia.
Kyrus, thank you.
Yes,
I'm gonna cry on camera. We can't have that. Thank you so much.
And please give your family a big hug and stay safe and
you too.
Yes, absolutely. And let's continue this Black excellence.
Yes, let's keep in touch. Let's continue this.
Yes, and once this whole thing is like, once it's safe to like hug people again, I am hugging you and I'm not letting you go.
The biggest hug.
Yes, absolutely. Tia, thank you so much. Everybody else, if you enjoyed watching this, you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at The Vibe with Kai, or you can follow me on Snapchat and TikTok at Kyrus Keenan, or you can visit my website at thevibewithkai.com. Tia, I love you. Mwah. Everybody else, good vibes. Yay, Tia, we did it.